Cleveland's inconsistent season continues with another predictable loss in Toronto, and there are decisions to be made as we look at what we've learned about the Guardians 1 month into the 2026 season.
You are Locked On Guardians, your daily podcast on the Cleveland Guardians, part of the Locked On Podcast Network, your team every day.
Well, it's Misery Monday in Cleveland. The Guardians lost a series in Toronto. The Cavs have lost in Toronto. And if you're a hockey fan, the Monsters also lost very badly on Sunday too. So nothing good happened in Cleveland this weekend. It rained and it was nicer on Sunday. But it's Misery Monday. It's therapy session on Locked On Guardians, your only daily podcast on your Cleveland Guardians. It covers the team from the majors, the minors, the draft, and everything in between. And I am Justin Lada. That is Jeff Ellis. Jeff's been here 8 years. I've been here 4, hosting the podcast with him. And we've both been covering the minor league baseball and draft, more Jeff the Draft, for 19 years. Jeff, what have we learned about the Guardians 1 month in? We'll cover that on today's show. Do they have to make some changes and shake some things up? Other teams sure are, and Cleveland is not one of them, thankfully. We'll talk about that. Leading off today's show, though, Jeff, a frustrating yet somewhat predictable series loss in Toronto. I think Friday we did our show, I said Guards win Friday, and they would lose Saturday and Sunday, but they won Sunday or Friday because of their offense, which is great. Saturday, not really surprised considering Kevin Gausman usually eats their lunch.
He does.
Sunday was frustrating because it was a winnable game and you didn't have to face Dylan Cease. There were so many factors. Let's start with Sunday because we can talk about the rest of the series overall. But Sunday was most frustrating because of multiple things. I know you mentioned on the post-game wrap-up that a little bit of bad luck for the Guardians in terms of batted ball quality, all that kind of stuff.
Austin Hedges had a expected batting average of 500 on every single ball. I'm going to say his name wrong. Okamada is a bad defender. He's a bad defender at third. Today he looked like Brooks Robinson. Like it was just one of those situations where.
Oh, he was Brooks Robinson all weekend. I'm surprised he's a bad defender.
His metrics this year have been bad. Like he's been a straight up bad defender at third until he faced Cleveland. Every single game in this series, except for Saturday, they had the higher expected batting average. Things just didn't fall in. Things didn't go their way. And on Saturday, I think they were 1 point less. Like over the weekend, Cleveland was expected to have more hits than Toronto. And I believe in today's game, they had more base runners in this game than Toronto. They just couldn't come up with the big hit, couldn't put it away. And then they just, like I said, some of the bad luck. Kwan's double play, right? That was an expected batting average over 400. One of those outs by Hedges when we had runners on, like so many ways this could have gone the other way. And to me, that's what makes it frustrating. I know people say, it's not what really happened, the expectations, this or that. But bottom line is like they had decent contact. They had moments. Sometimes, the luck isn't with you, and they also have to do a better job of taking advantage of those situations. I still don't understand not pitch hitting for David Fry. That's going to be one of those things today that just sits in the back of my mind.
Yeah, not pitch hitting for David Fry with the bases loaded there against a right-hander who is, I believe, Braden Fisher is really tough on righties, so why not go to your lefties at that point?
You got all of them on the bench.
Not sending Slade Cecconi out. Or setting Slade Cecconi after the 6th inning. Like I think I think I mentioned to the Everydayer Club, I was like, this I don't like Cecconi had settled down after the 1st inning, which good for him. He was pitching good. I think you don't send him out there for the 6th inning because we've seen this year he's kind of a 5 and fly guy, and he did have a better start today in the Sunday game.
It was a very low pitch count.
Yeah, after the 1st inning, he really settled in, and 5 innings, 2 runs. Like I don't know. I guess I can't say what the bullpen situation was as far as like who was available, who wasn't, because. We know Shawn Armstrong's on the IL and Colin Holderman's up, who pitched very well today. On Sunday, we'll talk more about that. But I don't know the bullpen situation, but I think you would want to get Cecconi out there feeling good about himself, right? Like, 5 innings, 2 runs, and it was the last 4 innings he pitched that he didn't allow a run. So it's like, get him out of there feeling good about himself. You're down 2. It was tied 2-2 at that point. Get him out of there with a tie game and go to your bullpen at that point and see what happens. That was frustrating. And then I think late in the game, too, like, you had Jeff Hoffman came in, right? And he was removed from the Toronto closer's role because he's been so bad this year. You managed a walk against him in 1 inning, a walk. Louis Varland comes in the 9th inning. You made him throw 30 pitches on Saturday. You got a run off him. They had chances to come back and win and tie that game up on Saturday too, which is great. both frustrating and great. Like, what games have they been out of this year, Jeff, that you're like, okay, this game's like the Sunday night game against Atlanta? Have there been other games where you're like, wow, there's a lot of games they had chances and didn't cash in, but you made Louis Varland throw 30 pitches on Saturday. You got to run off him. He comes back on Sunday. Like, you should have been able to, I mean, things happen. Louis Varland's a very good reliever. He's having a great year for a reason, but like you did the hard work on Saturday against him. You didn't win, but that should have been a way to try to even the score, and it didn't happen. They didn't catch him on Sunday. So it's just frustrating that they had those chances on Saturday and Sunday where they could have done things and they didn't win. This is another series like the St. Louis series. I don't know if it could have been a sweep, but it could have been 2 or 3. Baltimore could have been a sweep. Houston could have been 2 out of 3. This series could have been at least 2 out of 3, if not a sweep. They've had chances in all these series. And again, I don't know whether or not that makes me feel good because, hey, they're in every game. They pretty much they've had a chance to win every series except for the Atlanta series. And they just haven't done it in all of them. And they're still, a game above 500. We're 29 games in. We're a month in. They're a game above 500, and they're tied for first place. Nobody's running away in the American League. I get that. So it's fine. Like, you're just trying to survive April. But I don't know. Like, is it glass half full that they could have a better record? Is it glass half empty that they clearly aren't good enough to cash in those situations to score the runs they needed? And the bullpen, too, obviously has had its share of moments that contributed.
I guess I'm glass half full because it's like they're doing all of this right now. And like I said,
but is it going to change is the question. Do you believe it's going to change?
Like I said, it's a degree of not lucky. I think I got to check Saturday, but at least starting with the loss on Thursday, they've had more base runners than the other team in every single game. Like, that's typically going to lead to victory. And there's been some bad luck. Like, baseball is a game of inches and luck. Like, right now is a crap stretch. Don't get me wrong. But they're also doing this with like Jose not really contributing. Like, let's also be honest. Like, Jose, after he
had a hot 13-game stretch, he's been hot. Yeah. They played 29 games. I'd say 13 of them he's been really good. So he's been hot in half the games.
But he hasn't been hot in this stretch where they're struggling. And like, he has had multiple opportunities, and he's been really struggling when there's runners on. That's why I'm always kind of like, oh yeah, just walk him. I appreciate that.
Yeah, because he has no protection in the lineup. Nobody.
Well, no, but even when he is not, like, when he goes up and there's runners on, his numbers aren't great this year. Like, his numbers are definitely so. Like, there's some protection for him, but there's also like he's not doing much with it, and the middle of the lineup just isn't doing much at all. But like, a lot of the things make me think that people get mad at me when I don't respond to things very quickly. But I'm slow. I'm going to take my time. I'm going to look at the approach. Right now, this was annoying. This was obnoxious. This was not fun to watch, but like, the underlying support is there. It's like they were very close to breaking this game open. And if the Hedges and Kwan hits fall in as expected, they win this game. Like, it takes those 2 hits that are expected to fall in, and this is an entirely different ball game. And those were
makes that play on Saturday. How do things change?
But I mean, I'm just saying, like, based on like expected batting averages, like those are 2 that would go in. Whereas I think Toronto only had 1 expected batting average play that didn't go in their favor, and several, like, was it like Vlad's, one of his singles had an expected batting average of like under 100. Like, sometimes, things don't fall, and it's like, yeah, right now it's annoying and obnoxious. But today's game was one that, like, I could easily put. Now, again, I'm not going to just sit here and be like, it's all bad luck. Like, I don't understand leaving David Fryan against a guy who, that was just a weird choice. You got a loaded bench. Don't do that. Like, go get in, because maybe if you have someone like another outfield, maybe if Chase is in, then maybe he makes that catch on the double in the ninth, or in the 6th or 7th or whatever it was. Because wasn't it right after that double that the home run came? I could be confusing things in my head. But, it's like there's moments like that could have flipped it. So it's like you kind of need, it's not just there's bad luck, but bad luck is there. But they also need some, a few better choices here and there.
We'll talk more about the Guardians series in Toronto, what did go well. We talked about what didn't go well. We'll talk more about what did go well this weekend. There were some things that did go well, aside from saying they should have been luckier. And the Guardians are now Major League Baseball is a month old now in 2026. We'll talk about what we've learned about the Guardians a month in. That's coming up on the rest of today's Locked On Guardians. If you know me, I've got a big sweet tooth, and it can be tough to find that perfect treat with all the sugar. I have a lot of crashes when I do that, and that is why something like the Confetti Craze 5-hour energy shot that brings that nostalgic birthday cake flavor back in a whole new way. It's a classic taste that we all love, right? With tasty caffeine, boost, zero sugar, easy way to satisfy that sweet tooth we all have and the craving while keeping things simple on the go. And hey, you're getting a little energy out of it too. I wish I could be eating birthday cake all the time. That would not be good for a lot of reasons. And Confetti Craze 5-hour energy shots taste just like that. And all cake, no sugar, no crash, giving you energy. I don't know what could be better than that, honestly. It's the great benefits you're going to get, and I'm going to take a look at that and add that to my daily routine when I need a little bit of energy boost and I want something sweet. The Funfetti flavor is back on 5hourenergy.com or Amazon. Crack open Confetti Craze 5-hour energy shot today. Hey, you Locked On Guardians listeners, we love you. And don't forget to check out the Everydayer Club if you want to enjoy the show a little bit more. It gets you ad-free access to all of our episodes and a group chat with myself and Jeff and other listeners of the show. You can commiserate, you can celebrate, you can do whatever you want. Just be nice to each other. That's all we ask. Tap the link in the show notes or go to lockedonguardians.supercast.com to join in on the fun. So yeah, Gavin Williams was not great Friday. I thought he pitched the scoreboard a little too much because he got that 5-run boost. That kind of stunk.
Agreed.
The bullpen for the most part was pretty good. Like it was good on Friday, it was good Friday. I mean, I know Cade Smith gave up 2 hits, but they
made it
a run.
He made it shaky. That's
Yeah, and he got a double play. He gave 2 hits, but he only threw 16 pitches. That they had 3 scoreless innings on Friday night. I said, like, when it got to the 3rd inning, I was like, this 5 runs is not going to win this game, and it didn't. It took 8 runs, and that was a fun game. Like, you had Daniel Steven leading off. He had a lead-off home run. They were all hitting Max Scherzer, which, Angel Martinez, 2 home runs off Max Scherzer. You can tell his kids one day that he hit 2 home runs off a future Hall of Fame starter. I know 2026 Max Scherzer is not exactly the Hall of Fame version of Max Scherzer, but hey, still counts. Still going to count the box score. That was a really fun game to watch. And I thought Joey Cantillo was good on Saturday too. Like, that was a good game to go out there and watch. I was really impressed with him. I wasn't sure how that was going to go against that lineup, but he was really good. I think he deserved a chance to win that game. Defense kind of let Festa down. That was the Juan Brito error, which
every other game.
I don't know how much. I don't know how much more energy I could spend on the Juan Brito thing. Like, it is what it is.
He was also the only guy to reach base twice in that game. Side note. So, like, it's
on Saturday.
Yeah, he was the only player who reached base twice in that game. They had their chances.
He gave runs back though.
He
gave runs back. He was still in that negative.
Can we also talk about how just poor the official scorer was in Toronto all weekend? Like,
oh my god! Like, he didn't actually give an error to Brito on that play, did he? And then the drop catch by Valera in left field wasn't called an error.
Yeah,
like,
there was another play beyond that.
Right
like,
there.
It was just crazy. So yeah, I thought
that was a lot of home cooking. If I was Joey Cantillo and Matt Festa, I'd be like, what the heck, man? Like, is there like a different set of rules?
I would appeal to the league office on those, honestly. Like,
yeah, especially Cantillo. Like,
but yeah, and then Sunday just hurt from the perspective of like if you're a longtime listener of the show, for how long have I been asking for Cleveland to acquire Jesus Sanchez, and he pretty much was free to a good home, and then of course he comes up and does exactly what we talked about.
Yeah, they gave Joey Loperfido back to Houston. They acquired. Was that the Yusei Kikuchi trade 2 years ago? Like, they gave Joey Loperfido back. Cleveland could have found a Joey Loperfido, right? Maybe George Valera.
I mean, nothing else. Kafis probably would have fit the bill.
Yeah.
And that's first base outfield.
Yeah, and Sanchez, he's a platoon hitter, but he was good this weekend. He was great. But I thought it was interesting. I think we should talk about this. Steven Kwan.
Yes.
Do we think that, like, he was scratched on Friday night an hour before the game with a stiff neck? They said it just developed in the last hour before the game. They said it wasn't because I'm sorry. He was off Friday. They had a day off Thursday. He got the night off Friday, and then Saturday he was scratched with a stiff neck, and they said that only developed in the hour prior to the game. So it wasn't anything to do with Friday. They just wanted him to have 2 days off in a row. But I don't know. Like, Daniel Steven leading off looked pretty fun. Angel Martinez had a great weekend, I thought, overall, and there's some interesting things in that profile. I don't know whether it's the demands of playing center field, which we were kind of worried about. Like, center field defensively has been great for Kwan. He's done a great job. which I'm not surprised by. But offensively, he is looking as terrible as he's ever looked in his career. Like, this is usually the Kwan we get in like June, July, August, not April, May. Usually April, May Kwan is the good version before the defense kind of, you know, gets to him. So is it defense? And I honestly, like, I know we've talked about small samples a little bit, but we're 30 games in, or we're going to be 30 games in today. And I know Kwan hasn't played 30. Do you start to think about moving him down in the lineup?
So you and I are really deep diving before the show. And for people who are like, oh, you're overreacting, we have to bring up some points. One, which is last year he had one of the lowest hard hit percentages in baseball at 19.8%. This year it's down to 9.3. He is rocking an all-time low for max exit velocity and exit velocity in general. His max EV this year is barely over 100. I don't know if he put in less, you know, arm days because he was preparing for center field.
He keeps doing those bat speed camps. Like he keeps doing the weighted bat training.
Well, it's not working because his bat speed isn't any better over these years. And hasn't he also changed his bat? Like, I thought he got rid of the axe, and then I thought I saw the axe was back.
No. He
got rid of the peg.
No. Yeah, he had the peg, and then he had the. Yeah. I think he was one of the guys that tried the what's that barrel? The
torpedo bat.
I think he tried the torpedo bat, and then he went back.
Either way, it's like
I don't know.
His data is just horrendous, and it's like, yes, he does have a very low BABIP, but he also is just
bad contact quality.
It's bad, yeah, which leads to bad. And right now, he's essentially Miles Straw in center field. Like, it is essentially a Miles Straw situation in center field for this team, and that's rough at the top of the lineup because he's not doing anything to really contribute. He's 24% below league average offensively. And he's doing it. He's entering the zone where his exit velos are so low that the quality of contact is so poor that he's you know, a max EV of barely over 100 is typically someone that you would say can't survive at the major league level. Like that's a backup. That's a guy. There's no one else who really does that and finds any success. So unless there is something more serious here, or unless he can, as you said, like, the problem is this is a guy who wears down as the year goes on, and he looks like he's already worn down. I don't know what you do, but I think you do consider moving him down. I think you have to, because it's bad, but they don't make those type of reactions. They don't do that. He's got to take a half a year before they'd even consider that. But where he is at in terms of what he is doing, he's playing himself into a borderline player. Like, and he's got to rebound. He's got to get stronger.
Play himself into a fourth outfielder. Yeah.
Yes.
And okay, I don't want to put it all like this is funny, not funny, but it's kind of funny. We're talking about how he does like the weighted bat training to try to improve his bat speed. He's never had a bat speed rating.
Oh, it's always bad.
It's always the first percentile. He's never gotten above that. So
no,
his bat speed's never increased because of the training. So I don't really know what it's doing other than placebo confidence. I don't know. I don't want to say it's all wore down. Like everybody says they're pitching differently. Like, they're throwing the ball outside against him more. He's getting more pitches high and away. He's getting more.
But they've always done sliders. That to him. Like, he's been around long enough that book has been out, and he's still found success with it.
Yeah, he's seen the same amount of breaking balls he did a year ago. Actually, he's seen more fastballs this year so far. So I do think there's like something. I think there's a combination here of finding, I don't know, like something's not right, or it's the defense is already costing him on the offensive side, and a combination of how teams are pitching him, and he's either, you know, looping or popping the ball up to the opposite field, or he's grounding it into the ground. Like, his launch angle is way down, his ground ball percentage is up, his line drive rate's down, his fly ball rate's down. He's not pulling the ball in the air anymore. And again, part of that is how teams are pitching him. Some of that in the past has been where it was having a hard time doing that because of he was wearing down as the season goes on. But some of that is how teams pitch him too. And right now he's getting the worst of both. I do think it makes sense to use, like, I don't know, Martinez and Sheeman don't have great approach. Martinez's approach is disastrous. And I know someone's going to say, why are you being so negative? He's one of the best players on the team. He is one of the best players on the team right now. He's having a great year. Everything's going good for Martinez. The barrel rate's up. He's hitting the ball harder. He still chases everything, but it's working for him because he doesn't strike out, and he's
he did this last first 2 months of the season as well.
Yes, but he's never had the batted ball data to back it up. And now the barrel rate actually and the hard hit rate have grown more than they ever have in his career. So there's something to
positive signs. There's positive signs.
Yes. The approach is always going to make him a streaky hitter, but he's a guy that might have really fun highs and he might be able to avoid the dips a little too much. I don't know that he's the right fit for the leadoff spot. Daniel Steven in the past, obviously he led off on Friday. That was cool. Hit the home run. In the past, he's never been a guy who chased a lot, but now his chase rate's way up, even though he's still walking, which I'm thrown for a loop on that one, to be honest with you. But I think you got to consider moving Steven Kwan down in the lineup. It's hurting you right now that he's just popping up and grounding out, and he's still drawing walks, which that's great, but if that's all he can do, that was like the same thing as Miles Straw. Like, he can draw a walk, or he can ground out to second, or he can pop out to left field. That's the same thing Miles Straw was doing.
Yeah, it's like I said, it's crazy to me that he was essentially had the worst power numbers in terms of hard hit percentage in baseball at 19.8, and now he's down to 9, and now his exit velo is barely over. Those are signs that either something is broken or he's just doesn't. I guess he's started to hit the aging curve. He's guys. Sometimes smaller guys start to have those natural aging declines a little bit earlier. I don't know, but
did the Guardians
have to be concerned.
Did the Guardians make an error on not trading Steven Kwan? 216-578. Oh wait, we're not doing that here. Yeah. That might be a future conversation we actually do have to have. You wanted to talk about Bo Naylor. We got to talk about the Shawn Armstrong injury.
Yes,
we have to talk about how the Guardians, even though they're frustrating, they are not the dumpster fire that 3 other teams are right now. And we got to look ahead to the Tampa series. So lots to still discuss on this episode of Locked On Guardians. Stick with us.
But first, sorry, everyone, I had a mouse death there. ED is way more common than most guys think. Millions of guys deal with it at some point, and that's exactly why HIMS offers a straightforward way to handle it. HIMS connects you with a licensed healthcare provider, provides providers online, giving you access to legitimate ED treatment options from the comfort of your home. No awkward appointments, no pharmacy lines, just a straightforward process that makes it easier to take care of yourself. Let me bring over our friend, the Rally Dino. Right now, currently, this bone doesn't work. He needs HIMS to get his roar back. If you need HIMS to get your roar back, they have many different approaches and pills, things like Slindafil, which can help at a fraction of their cost. And they'll talk with you and help you get discreet packaging and figure out what is the right pill for you. So to get simple online access to a personalized, affordable care for ED, hair loss, weight loss, and more, visit hims.com/lockedonmlb. That's hims.com/lockedonmlb for your free online visit. hims.com/lockedonmlb.
If you're enjoying the show, make sure you're auto-downloading on all your favorite audio platforms, wherever you get podcasts. Actually, we do have some new Apple Podcast reviews.
I mentioned those last week. I got those.
April 17th and 16th, 17th. Okay, well, thanks, Penguins and Seppi B. We appreciate that. Hit the bell on YouTube to get the reaction video sent right to your phone when episodes go live as well. And if you want updates like Shawn Armstrong going on the IL or just stuff going on throughout the game, you can check out the subtext, our little insiders chat. We get mailbag questions from them as well. That is joinsubtext.com/LockedOnGuardians. If maybe you're not a group chat person or you're not going to spend time in there, but you'd like some updates sent to your phone when important news happens. So that's over there. Do you want to talk about the Shawn Armstrong thing, or you want to talk about Bo Naylor real quick? Or you want to save Bo Naylor for your day?
No, let's do Bo Naylor quick because people keep bringing up one. Cooper Ingles hurt, so for people who we have people in the comments, calling for Cooper Ingles, he's currently hurt. 2, this is like, if you go back and listen to some of the solo shows, I talked about like how it's fun to look at numbers, but we can't really take a whole lot away from numbers in the early going because it is too early. Things haven't had a chance to get back to normal. You can have a few days just completely wreck things. It's still kind of too early for numbers, really, if we're being honest. I mean, some of the stuff we're looking at are more because it stands out against what players have traditionally done. But the thing is, Bo Naylor, he had a fantastic Savant page. You know what happened? A week and a half later, it's it's back to Bo Naylor. Like I'm very confused by why they thought that breakout was coming. And it's, and maybe I'm being unfair to Cooper Ingle. You can go back and listen to me talk about last week, but it's like Cooper Ingle reminds me a lot in AAA of Bo Naylor, like a lot in terms of profile, approach, lack of exit velo, over passivity. So I could be very guilty of just kind of painting with too broad of a brush. But right now, I mean, Hedges has a higher WRC plus than Kwan anyway. So, like maybe Hedges just needs to find a fountain of youth and
Austin Hedges, leadoff hitter. You heard it here
there
first.
Yes. But yeah, it's brutal with Bo Naylor. He has the lowest WRC plus on the team. He has a negative WAR because his offense is so bad. Yeah, he's got a low BABIP, a really low BABIP, but every year his BABIP is poor because he has poor quality of content and because he is so passive. Right now, 3 worst hitters on this team this year have been Manzardo, Brito, and Naylor. Manzardo's had some signs of life at points. He had a big hit on Saturday.
He did. It was nice double.
He occasionally has some signs of life here or there, but gosh, like Naylor is just, it's brutal. And we have heard through the years that he doesn't call a great game. And like when you add in like that talk that like maybe he doesn't call a great game, he doesn't sequence the best. And then the offense is just Bo Naylor, I would argue, I don't know if until Chase DeLauder, there was maybe not a hitting prospect fans were clamoring for more than Bo Naylor in the last 5 years. Like people were very excited for him. And, he was a bat first player. And it's just right now listen, he's the catcher for this year. I don't know beyond this year. Maybe they'll see stuff happen with, they got to add Ingle by the end of the season anyway. So maybe he'll get a look, but Bo Naylor is the catcher. So hopefully the BABIP will turn around and he'll get, the problem is he's been like a 240 BABIP guy. So even with 90 more batting average points, he's still hitting below 220. He's got to do more. It's been rough.
Yeah. I mean, has he been getting unlucky? Yes. I think you could say he's getting unlucky because like the barrel rate's still good and the hard hit rate's not terrible. But his profile now looks like it did a year ago when he was bad. And he hit 195 with a 661 OPS. And with a 661 OPS for him right now, it would look great. Nothing's changed. Like a week ago, I know I put that up here and I was like, oh, it's getting bad luck. Maybe I was wrong. And then you were right. Like another week later, we get more data and it went in the wrong direction. And now it doesn't look as good. Like there are parts of his Savant page that look okay, but it looks the same as it's always looked, truthfully, if you look at it right now. Or it looked the same as it did a year ago when he was not great. So
he's a passive hitter. And that's why like I am very nervous with the super passive profiles, which again, the most passive hitter in AAA so far this year is Cooper Ingle.
Cooper Ingle makes Bo Naylor look aggressive.
Oh, he does. Yeah. Right. And but that's the thing. Bo Naylor is just,
what's odd is Bo Naylor's swing rate is 45%. The average MLB swing rate is 47%. So his swing rate's like not crazy below what everybody else
feels
is.
Like he goes up every at bat looking for a walk. Not, we hear about like I'm going up there looking fastball, trying to hit the ball hard. I'm going to go up there.
What's crazy, Jeff, is he swings 4% more at the first pitch than the average player. He's got a 34% first pitch swing percentage. The average hitter in Major League Baseball this year swings at 30% of the first pitches. So I don't think it's even passivity anymore. Like it's not good. Like you want to hear, here's a sign that could be hurting him. Chase contact is up 6%, almost 7%. He's making contact on balls out of the zone at a 62%, almost 63% rate. Last year it was 56. And the average player in Major League Baseball this year makes contact on balls 58% of the time. So honestly, the biggest thing for him is that he's chasing out of the zone and
you heard it here first. Bo Naylor's ball contact is what's getting him.
I don't know what it is.
He's also ground ball. His ground ball straight is way up. He's just putting everything on the ground.
I think we've tried to explain the Bo Naylor thing like 6 ways to Sunday. We've looked at and again, it's only April 27th. So
and he is like, for as much as people, complain about Gabby or this or that and other players, Martinez or Manzardo, I should say. It's like, I mean, at this point, now I'm getting myself. Bo Naylor has had a ton of plate appearances, and he's never been good. He's had like 3 good months.
He was good at the end of his rookie season.
Yes, last 2 months.
And he was good, and then he was good in September last year.
Yeah, and
so
that's
3 months. So he's had 3 years in the big leagues and some change, and three of those months have been good.
Yeah,
and it's not like he's winning Gold Gloves either way. No. Like this isn't
passable.
Miles Straw. This is not Miles Straw at catcher. This is not Gaviarius at catcher, like or Andres Jimenez. Like he's not giving you that level of defense. I don't know, but again, and I know we're saying that people are going to say, "Well, get rid of." They're not getting rid of him. This team is so conservative with catching. I was explaining this to someone today. I was like, think about this. Like,
people have been screaming about Bo Naylor getting re-signed Austin Hedges every year.
Yeah, in 2022, they waited. They finally added Naylor in September in 2022 to get his feet wet a little bit and get him around the team and get used to things. Then he went back to AAA in 2023. And they went with Zunino and was it Cam Gallagher? I think was their backup catcher that year.
Yeah, who he could block everything, but that's all he could do.
Yeah, he couldn't do anything else. And they waited as long as they could on Mike Zunino's slow march to death in his career. And they finally cut him halfway through the season, brought up Bo Naylor, and never looked back, even though he struggled, except for 3 months out of his career. So the only answer to Bo Naylor at this point is more Hedges, more Fry, and reducing Naylor's playing time. I don't know if that's going to happen, but it's not going to be Engel, A, because he has hip inflammation, but B, they're just not going to call. While they're in the middle of the season and they're still in contention, they're just not going to call up a rookie catcher like Cooper Engel, who's not a defensive specialist, and say, okay, catcher's yours. You're going to get, 50, 60% of the at-bats. And
if Bo Naylor got hurt, Dom Nunez is who they're calling up.
I would probably say Cody Huff.
I still think they go Nunez over Huff right now because Nunez has experience up here. They went to him over Huff last year, and Huff was already kind of what he is now.
Yeah, but I think Huff's a year older, and I think Huff could be a good backup. Nunez is a AAA lifer, so I just don't see it.
I know, but I still think that they love those AAA lifers, the Sandy Leones, the so-and-sos through the years. The
Buffalo, Wilson Ramos, remember him? Love that.
Vaguely.
Shawn Armstrong, I didn't hear how long it's going to be, but he's on the injured list with a groin strain, and that's never a good thing. Those things tend to linger. I know some people like Armstrong sucks. He wasn't great this year. He also wasn't bad. I guess he was bad. I don't know. The point is, it's
a handful of outings early on for a guy who I believe starts slow and gets better as the year goes on historically.
Well, either way, he was an important piece of this bullpen. I don't know how long he's going to be out for, but he's an important piece of this bullpen. He was a very targeted signing because they wanted him to share the setup role with Hunter Gaddis and now Eric Sabrowski. It just takes a guy out of the bullpen from you that has experience and has that you're counting on. And now you're calling up Colin Holderman. And that's why they're not turning to Franco Alamon right now, because you're not calling up Franco Alamon to take Shawn Armstrong's spot. You're moving everybody else up the totem pole, and Holderman is falling down to the bottom, around Festa and Paulette and Brogdon. So it's not okay. Franco Alamon comes in and takes Shawn Armstrong. No. Same with Holderman. They don't have that guy. Maybe Walters, but they're gonna be careful how Walters comes back too at the end of the month and what roles he gets put into. So it's not a 1-to-1 thing. And Holderman's got options. I'm hoping, because it is Holderman, this is a short-term thing for Armstrong. If he was out for a long time, maybe it would have been Walters or Alamon. I don't know.
Agreed. That was my same thought.
Maybe. That's what I'm hoping. And then you know what? As frustrated as we are, Jeff, we are not Boston. We are not
Philly.
The Mets or the Phillies, who have gargantuan payrolls, are burning their clubhouse culture, going to fire a manager, and those. I think the Mets and the Phillies are the next to fire their managers. Just to be honest.
Yeah,
I'm going to be frustrated, but it could be worse. We could have a $300 million payroll and be talking about firing managers on April 27th. That's not the case here. So
it's
all in perspective.
As bad as annoying as it gets, as this has been a not fun stretch with some of the series losses. Bottom line is, gosh, it's a well-run team. People may not agree with that, may not say it, but they keep winning, and that's a well-run baseball team.
Yeah.
Sorry.
It's how they do against another well-run baseball team, the Rays, this week. We'll talk about that on tomorrow's show.
Yep. Thank you all for joining us. Remember to rate and review, download daily. It helps. Comment below with all sorts of thoughts, series, ideas. And go Guardians.